Yeah, so we did win Georgia straight.
Hi, it's Mark from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with Mr. Bernie Pawlik of Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver. As you just heard, we're 15 or 16-time winners now of Best Auto Repair in Vancouver. And we're talking with Mr. Bernie Pawlik. He's the owner. Bernie, we're going to talk about a complex diagnosis on a 1997 Chevy van today. So what do you mean by a complex diagnosis?
Well, what I mean by complex diagnosis, good morning, Mark, is a diagnosis that's something that takes multiple times to fix. There's one problem, then there's usually a second problem. One problem masks the other problem. Often with diagnosis, there's just one issue. The check engine light's on, we diagnose it, find one part wrong, fix it, it's done, and no other issues. Or the engine might be running rough, and it turns out to be a bad ignition coil, for example. Replace the coil or replace all the coils, the car's fixed, it runs fine. In the case of a complex diagnosis, there's usually more than one thing, and we don't really know that at the outset. It's just we have to fix one thing and then something else occurs.
So what happened with this particular vehicle?
So with this vehicle, and I'll just share a quick example picture of what the van looks like, just so we can see. This is it's a 97 Chevy van. This is not the customer's van, but an example of what the van looks like. So it's a little, sorry, I'm just going back to my self here. Okay. So 1997 Chevy van. The owner just recently purchased the vehicle and they have a carpet cleaning business. So they're out on a job, driving up a hill. The engine all of a sudden lacks power, can't get up the hill very well, and just generally a lack of power. So they brought it to the shop. I actually looked at the van myself and took it out for a road test. Immediately I noticed, okay, there's possibly a fuel problem here. Just years of experience, it seems like it's probably got a lack of fuel to the engine. Check engine light wasn't on. Plugged in, connected a fuel pressure gauge to the vehicle, road tested it, and verified the fuel pump was in fact bad. So we changed the fuel pump, also the fuel filter at the same time, which coincidentally was partially plugged. And the pump was old, it was original, and which fair enough. I mean, the vehicle's almost 20 years old, 260,000 kilometers, plus all the extra use a carpet cleaning van gets because it's running all the time when it's at someone's house to clean the carpet. Replaced the fuel pump, vehicle started great. I drove it around the block, lots of power, thinking, great, fabulous, it's all done. And that was it in the evening.
So what happened next?
So next thing, the next morning, it wouldn't start very well. It cranked over for a long time, finally started up, seemed like the engine was flooded, and we figured, well, could be that the vehicle computer had been used to running lean, which vehicle computers will adapt to different fueling conditions. So figured, okay, it's been used to running lean, probably just flooded the engine, and the customer picked the vehicle up, was running okay. And then a couple of days later, they had some problems starting it, a little bit of rough running, and got to the point where it wouldn't start. So caring about good customer service, I went to their house, couldn't start the vehicle, towed it down to the shop, and reconnected a fuel pressure gauge to make sure the pump was in fact fine, and it was. And unfortunately, the vehicle started right up. So it took us a few days of running it, trying to start it, running it, trying to start it, till it finally wouldn't start again, because I knew it would happen. And here we found that the spark plugs were bad, and also the spark plug wires. When we took the spark plugs out, we found they're severely worn, very old design Bosch platinum spark plug, and replaced them. The vehicle ran great after that. So two different problems, kind of one after the other. And so there we have it. So the vehicle's fixed.
So this vehicle had two concerns. One was really apparent, one was hidden. Do you see multiple concern type repairs or diagnosis fairly often?
Not too often. I'd say maybe 5% of the time when a vehicle comes to our shop for a diagnosis, it's something that's multiple. It's like there's one thing after another, or there's several different problems. And usually these occur, as a matter of fact, they occur almost always on vehicles that have been badly neglected. Either the owners neglected it, it's been running badly and they just keep driving it, or the check engine light's been on for a year or two and they just keep driving it. Or in the case of this vehicle, again, it was badly neglected, but it was just recently purchased. So the owner really had no way of knowing what was in store. It's kind of like getting a rescue dog. You don't really know, how the dog's been treated, and it takes a little extra work to get the dog into shape, so to speak, as opposed to if you just got a puppy and you trained it yourself.
So from a customer's perspective and someone who doesn't know that much about cars, it seems a bit suspect when, I bring my vehicle into you to get it fixed and it doesn't work right. So, automatically I'm going to wonder, did they just screw up, not fix the right thing, or did they do it wrong in the first place?
That is a really, really good question. And it's something, for me, when one of these issues occurs in our shop, dealing with customers and explaining these kind of things, to me is very difficult, because I feel like our credibility always comes into play, and people don't necessarily know. And, to me, it really boils down to trust and communication. I mean, do you trust the shop that you're dealing with? And how do you trust the people? And to me, it's all about communication. I mean, in anywhere in life, whether it's a marriage, whether it's with your doctor or dentist or your auto mechanic, it's how does the communication go in these kind of things? And because they do occur, and, they're, from our perspective, they're kind of uncomfortable conversations. But, I know, we do our very best to make sure things are done right, and cars are complicated. I just want to share a quick picture here, if it's coming up. I'll just this is basically a diagram, if you can see it, of a fuel injection system on a vehicle. I mean, there's a lot to look at here, but you can see there's a lot of bits and pieces. There's pumps, there's sensors, I can see about 10 sensors in this picture. There's fuel injectors, there's spark plugs, and all of these things can go wrong, and they can go wrong at any time. And we can fix one thing today, and the next thing will die tomorrow. So the check engine light could be off when it leaves the shop, and then something else can happen. So really, as I say, it's really a matter of trust and good communication.
Great. So we've been talking with Mr. Bernie Pawlik of Pawlik Automotive. I don't know if it's 15 or 16 time now winners. 15 time winners of best auto repair in Vancouver, as voted by their customers. If you want expert auto repair and great diagnosis and an honest guys who will do their very best to look after your complicated piece of machinery, these are the guys to see. Go see their website, pawlikautomotive.com. There's a ton of information there. It's one of the best auto repair websites in the world, and you can give them a call at 604-327-7112. Thanks, Bernie.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mark.